Powder your face with sunshine.
We all moan about our football teams at some stage during a season, but the residents of Loughranza have more reason to moan than most. Their team, Northend Thistle, have been bottom of the 4-team ARRAN League for as long as they care to remember. Whilst keeping the grass short has never been a problem, getting a decent team to play on it has. They haven't won for 18 years.
It's a great laugh, and that's why we do it here. I can't explain. We get a great pitch and a great support. Shame about the team, but we'll get there one day.
It doesn't matter what they do, we always support them, and I think it's part of the fun that they just keep losing, you know.
Are they really as bad as they sound?
Yeah, they're pretty rotten, yeah. They try their best, they really do, but yeah, they're pretty rubbish.
And how do you find a new angle for your reports every week?
I don't know, we kind of get, that near-miss angle quite a lot of the time, or just, new players, that kind of thing. But it does, it's just a sort of long-running joke now.
With the squad, we're just a bunch of guys at the North End of the island here. There's not too many of us, so we're limited to who we can get in the team, but we're more for the social side of it than the winning side. So
where are the weak links and where are the strong links?
About 1 to 11 is probably the weak, but we've got a good youth policy now, so hopefully that'll pay dividends today.
Thistle are on the up. They got their first point in 14 years this season and have invited us along for the last match of the summer against opposition who could be as equally inept. Southend United once lost a match 33-0 before disbanding several years ago, only to reform this season. Led by their indefatigable captain Eddie Picken, and with goalkeeper Dennis Smith sporting a strip last worn by Bert Troutman, you could see why Northend were hopeful. And in front of the biggest crowd of the season, the home side got off to a flyer. 1-0 up, is this a bit of a surprise?
It is, it's a shock. The fans will take a while to recover from that.
Can you hang on to it?
I don't think so.
As you can see, the two teams were evenly matched, although there won't be a clamour to sign many of the players on show, despite some interested observers amongst the locals. Incredibly, Thistle went further ahead, before resorting to some early time wasting. Last-ditch clearances were literally last-ditch, ending up in the adjacent marsh. But this is Northend, and soon enough they were creating their own problems. With Fred Carno's circus in defence, it was inevitable that Southend would hit back, and they did. No quarter given now, but Northend rose to the challenge and had soon restored their 2-goal advantage. Unnerved by such superiority, they quickly reverted to type, conceding the sort of goal that the locals have seen all too often. And then, with half-time approaching, disaster! Penalty to Southend. At half-time, Matt MILNE rallied his troops with some rousing encouragement, while Southend collected their thoughts. But had they discussed defending set pieces? It was turning into a classic, and the visitors did everything they could to get back into it. The big man at the back was substituted, and on came Boris Johnson. With 10 minutes left, another penalty looked to have thrown Southend a lifeline. (5-4) and Northend really were hanging on now. Substitute keeper Big Norman was at the centre of everything. And despite his attempts to level things up, they held on for their first win in 18 years. Will we ever hear the end of this?
I don't believe so, certainly not tonight anyway, that's for sure. We've played well last season to be honest, but we're just bad luck.
Didn't get the lucky break.
No luck at all.
You had a few lucky breaks today.
Good few. The wind carried it over my head. Wind that big gust of wind came over the valley there.
Perhaps it wasn't just the wind. Did anyone question the referee's allegiances?
A lot of luck on our side today. The first time in 18 years we've had luck, and at 5-4 with a missed penalty for the other team, it could have gone the other way, but we managed to hold on just, and I'm speechless.
Your notoriety's gone. Is there any disappointment at all at losing this record?
We have had our 50 minutes of fame, it has to be said, but no, we've won a game now, and we're definitely on the up. League and Cup next year, I think we've got no chance, but let's hope so.
It's not going to be another 18-year wait, is it?
Oh, absolutely not, no.
And can there have been a worse trip home for an away team? But for the residents of Loughranza on the Isle of Arran, OK, they may not have the most talented bunch of footballers in their ranks, but on Saturday the 23rd of August 2008, for one day at least, they finally shrugged off that tag of the worst team in Britain.